because I think we have everybody. It's August 12th, 2020, and we are holding the monthly meeting of the Dayton Utility Service Board. We are holding this meeting by phone because of the COVID-19 pandemic and in compliance with the governor's executive orders and Back on Track plan, which allows local governments to meet remotely and determine their own policies. This meeting is open for the public to listen in real time and by recording afterward. And an option has been provided for residents to speak during the meeting on agenda items. Present on the phone are our attorney, Reed Murtaugh, clerk treasurer, Michelle Freeward, town manager, Mark Harlow, Marshal Scott Taylor, and members of the town council who will now identify themselves by roll call. Ron Kohler.
Yes, here.
Dan Kiger.
Here.
Carla Snodgrass. Here. Ashley Stevenson.
Here.
And I'm Jen Monego, so all 5 council members are present. Also, we have Chad James of HWC Engineering on the line. I think we'll hear from him about the semi-dealership during Mark's section of the meeting. Okay, adjustment report 7/1/2020 to 7/31/2020. Michelle, does anything need information from there?
Jen, before we start, can we make one change to the agenda?
Yeah.
I had requested item number 4 to be added to the agenda. I'd like to remove that item for tonight's meeting, and we'll worry about that some other time.
Okay.
Do you want to listen to the meeting?
That's all I have. Is just remove item number 4, the vote to sell surplus mower and trailer.
Okay. Can someone help me? Do we need a motion to remove that, or is it just, okay, it's removed? I'm sorry that I don't know.
I had asked for it to be put on there, so I don't know that you necessarily need a motion, but whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we need a motion.
Okay. I just wasn't sure. Okay. Thanks, Ashley.
Go ahead and continue.
Michelle, is there anything from the adjustment report that needs explained?
No, it's just the normal applied deposit to final bill, 2 bills that were prorated for being sold during the middle of the bill cycle, 2 error in the meter reads, and then an adjustment fulfill.
Hey, does someone want to make a motion to approve the adjustment report?
I make a motion to approve the adjustment report dated 7/2/2020 to 7/31/2020.
I second it.
Hey, there's been a motion made by Ron and seconded by Stan to approve the adjustment report. Is there any discussion? Okay, we'll take a roll call vote. Carla? Yes. Ron?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
Ashley?
Yes.
I vote yes, so the motion passes 5-0. Okay. Utility report, Mark?
Well, before I give my report, we'll go ahead and have Mr. James from HWC Engineering answer any questions that you might have about the truck and a dealership being proposed out at Hine Drive and Yost Drive. You all should have received via email from me the most recent design for the facility. So I'll turn it over to Chad, and he can answer any questions that you may have or maybe shed some light on the project.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. So as he had mentioned, we're looking to put truck country of Indiana on the northwest corner of Hine Drive and Yost Drive. And the exhibit that we had sent had shown future outlots on the south end of the proposed site. That's way down the road and does not have anything to do with this current project that we're we're trying to start construction in October. But happy to answer any questions regarding that exhibit. And I think we'd like to go ahead and maybe get council's approval to go ahead and submit construction plans August 28th and allow Michelle with BFS to review those plans and provide any comments. So we might be able to expedite approval from the council later on.
This is Jen.
So,
I just had a question out of curiosity. What was it called? Truck display platform. Is that now the thing that is moved to like the top left of this little map?
Yes, the truck display
Okay.
is on the top left. Yep.
Okay.
Chad, this is Mark Harlow. So I noticed in this latest revision that you've shifted some things to the west. Has Walsall Group already purchased that property to the west, or are they waiting for approval of design for doing that?
That is a great question. I'm not sure where we stand with that. I believe they've already bought it. There's already been a survey done by T-Bird, but I may have to confirm that and send you an email on that one. I don't know the specifics on that.
Okay. But even if they haven't, that's clearly the intent.
Yes, they've already been in talks with the owner that was to the west. The problem was we didn't have a drainage outlet with this property. And so the owner to the west of the original property went acre for acre, kind of switch from the north to the west so that we could have a drainage outlet in the NDOT swale.
Okay.
Hey, Chad.
Yep.
Yeah, this is Ron Kohler. I think I talked to you a week or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
Those outlets sort of indicated that they might never even be outletted later, right? What are you guys thinking on the long term?
Yeah, there's no plan for that right now. It's way down the line, 5, 10. I mean, they don't have any buyers of those lots right now. It's just a potential way to use that land in the future.
Yeah, and you're not subdividing off any or rezoning anything for those lots at all. It's just all the truck place right now.
Correct. Yep, exactly.
Thank you.
Yep.
Would there be any reason I couldn't put these plans on the website?
No, I don't see an issue with that. These have already been submitted to the town of Dayton for a preliminary conceptual review, so it's public record now.
Great.
So, Chad, so what you're speaking...
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Ashley. Well, I was just going to say, so, Chad, you're hoping to get approving to move forward with BF&S review of the project?
Yes, so it was my understanding that this meeting was just to kind of introduce and answer any questions that you guys might have. And then I think if I understood correctly, there was going to have to be another meeting to allow Michelle to review the construction plans, because we aren't going to have those done until August 28th. So I was just looking for council approval to allow Michelle to start her review and not delay, I guess, her review. It would still have to go to the council for approval later on, but we're just trying to keep things moving as fast as possible.
Chad Ashley Stevenson. Approximately how many square foot of building do we have on these plans?
The building that we're showing is 37,400 square feet.
Thank you.
We can go ahead right now and have BF&S make a motion to let them review these plans when they get them ready. Is that right, Reed?
Correct.
I make a motion to let BF&S, when the plans are ready from the truck, I forgot the name of you, get your plans ready, that BF&S go ahead and review these plans for the town of Dayton.
I'd second that motion.
Okay, there's been a motion made by Ron and seconded by Ashley to allow BF&S review the plans from HWC Engineering when they're ready. Is there any discussion? Okay, we'll go ahead and vote by roll call. Carla?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Ann?
Yes.
Ashley?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well, so the motion passes 5-0.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll go ahead and start on my utility report now. Does everyone have the report in front of them or on their computer screen so you can follow me along?
Yes.
Okay. So the first item on there is the 2020 fire hydrant flow report that we had completed earlier this summer by Emmy Simpson. And the only reason I bring it up, and that report's been shared with the Sheffield Township Fire Department. But the only item of notice on there that I saw is that at hydrant number 39, which is at the corner of Dryer and Favorite, 1.5-inch fire hose nozzles has been cross-threaded and needs to be replaced. That's something that we can do in-house. I can get those brass nozzles for around $80 to our supplier, so I intend on doing that. I'm just making you aware of a deficiency because they red tagged that hydrant because it could be unsafe to use, not necessarily just, but I could go ahead and get that ordered and get that swapped out in the next week or two. The next item is wastewater, and under it is the smoke testing of the sanitary sewers. A few months ago, I had solicited bids for this to have all the sewer mains smoke tested in the town of Dayton. Of the three vendors, only one that submitted a bid was Westler Engineering for around $23,000. I believe you all have copies of that proposal. So I just want to discuss that tonight, see if we'd like to move forward with that, or see what your thoughts and questions might be on that project.
This is Jen. So in the email that you gave us, Mark, and I already talked to you about this, but for everyone else, it looks like we're doing so much better so far this year than compared to last year when 6 million gallons went down last year. So what I am hoping is that we can hold off on this and maybe find a grant to help pay for this smoke testing because it is rather expensive.
I can address that a little bit if you'd like for me to. we've looked at grants in the past for smoke testing, and there's really nothing out there unless you're over a certain percentage, and we are, Mark may be able to help me, but I was thinking it was somewhere around 35%. We're underneath that, so unless the rules have changed for grant money, there wouldn't be any grants available. Part of the grant is also based on the financial health of the town, and that's also maybe problematic, because they'll look and see that we do have money to pay for it. So I wouldn't hold my breath on getting grant money.
Yeah.
Mark may be able to do a better say, but I know we started down this path of smoke testing, what was it, Mark, about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, and we stopped. We did a little bit, but not very much. We went with the camera routes to the smoke testing. But anyway, I'll let Mark chime in.
Well, I do know about the availability of grants. Have you been able to do any research on that, Jen?
I've kind of looked, and I've found that some other places have been able to find them, but I don't know the, details, like their financial health and, like percentage that Ashley was talking about. Like, I don't know if that was a factor or.
Right.
Mark and Jen,
Well,
could I say something here? The day I happened to get a call from the guy that does grants, that when I started years ago, started the Crossroads community stuff on the roads and got the first grant, and our grant writer was Ken Smith. And I talked to him today. He'd called me back, and we were talking about projects for roads and everything like that. And we got to talking about, I just asked him, what about grants out there for, doing different projects like this? And he said, oh, definitely. He said, they're out there and they're available. And he said, in fact, I know your town from doing it before. Your income level and everything would qualify you for it. And he said, I know you guys would qualify. So anyway, I said that I would probably relay this message on to Mark and Jen of the utilities and stuff, and maybe you guys ought to talk to him, because I did mention the price to him and he thought it was probably double at least what it should be. So I think we ought to hold off a little bit, and at least talk to Mark and Jen, talk to him and get some more information.
Yeah.
Well, I guess on that note, for one thing, you want to do this during the dry season. So we're in a short window to get this accomplished. So we're still on Western Engineering calendar, but if we don't do it tonight, move forward with it tonight, we'd probably be looking at the summer of 21. I guess the good part is we look at sources of money, but the bad side is we're incurring expense for sending rainwater to Lafayette. So it's a decision you'll have to make. I guess as far as grants and stuff, I would ask that Jen take the lead on that, because I know it can be time consuming.
Yeah.
I can provide any numbers that you need, as far as gallons treated and all those kinds of things that you would need. But I would ask that you take the lead on looking for and then applying for any grants. That's the route you guys want to take.
Hey, Mark, one other thing too, we're going to have a meeting in a couple of weeks on some other stuff, and we could probably get more information And even if we didn't go the grant route, we might be able to find a company could do it just as soon for half the amount or so. So, Jen,
Well, I reached out to the only 3 that I knew of, and this was the only one that does it. So, I mean, maybe if this Mr. Smith knows of other companies that do this type of work, you know.
Yeah, you probably ought to talk to him. From what he said today, it sounded like you needed to.
Okay. So are we passing on the smoke testing for now then, or?
I would like to. Our numbers, I don't know if it's like changes that residents made or some of the upgrades that have been done, but our numbers are just so much lower as compared to last year.
Well, last year was a very wet year, if you all remember. I don't know how it compares to this year, but obviously last year was a very, very wet year in general.
I think it was 7 inches difference, 24 inches of rain last year and 17 this year so far for the first 6 months.
Okay, that would make sense, yeah.
Yeah. But last year, we spent 6 million gallons of rainwater, and this year, so far, we've only seen 200,000 gallons. And even making up for that 7 inches, if we would have got that 7 more inches, it wouldn't have made, it would have added another, like, $600 or something. We would be like $2,000 something. And last year we paid $23,800.
Okay, so you want to put it on hold, and so I'll get a hold of Wessler Engineering and let them know that we're going to look at securing some grant funding before we move forward on it. Sound correct?
Sounds
That's what
good.
I'd like to do.
I think that's a good idea. Just append it till we find out really what our situation is.
Okay. We'll move on to streets now. Michelle has submitted all the necessary closeout paperwork to NDOT for our 2019 Community Crossing Grant. She submitted that on August 3rd, and we now have to give NDOT 30 days to review the billing, so forth and so on. So they've had it, for 10 days now, and we should have official closeout by early September. And the reason I bring that up is that, as we all know, it's important because if you don't close out properly, you don't have much opportunity going forward to receive additional grants. So she's got everything sent in. We're just waiting to hear back from NDOT on the approval of it. Next item is this Road 38 ADA project. I'd sent everyone a drawing that I'd gotten from NDOT about how they were going to specifically do the ADA ramp here at Town Hall, and they were going to install a handrail on our, I'll call it our porch. Since that time, on August 5th, I had another email from them that said, never mind, we've deleted the necessity for a handrail at that location. So I know that's kind of a disappointment, but I thought it would be a nice addition, especially when there's snow and ice on. But they have deleted that from their ADA ramp here at Town Hall. Next item is the State Road 38 in project BS fee.
Mark, can I ask you a question about the ADA project?
Yes.
is that something that is like, could we pay for that, or are they saying like that can't be there?
Oh no, we could do it, but it wouldn't be part of their. It'd just be something we
Right.
did on our own. Yeah, but yeah,
Right.
we could always do that. Yeah.
But I don't know how much it costs, or like if like, could it be that they install it and we pay for it?
No, they're pretty
Would it be
picky
something
about that stuff.
completely-
It would have to be
Okay.
something solely on our own
Okay.
request. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Mark. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, that's okay. So, State Road 38 NDOT project, BF&S fee. So, I've been going back and forth with Shrewsbury Engineering, this State Road 38 project that goes from Conjunction Street out to Adams Road. At least that's the section we're concerned about. We had a walkthrough a couple weeks ago, or the last week of July, and they've identified where we need to move a fire hydrant and where we need to move a water main. And I told them that we'd like them to change the design so we don't have to do that, because they made it clear, and NDOT did too, that it would be a cost. So during this back and forth, BF&S has been working with me also, and back in May, the town council had approved $2,000 for funds for BF&S to aid in this conflict, I guess you would call it. Well, they've now reached that limit, and there's still a ways to go. I received a cost estimate from them moving forward, and they're saying it should be around another $1,200. So before I gave them approval to continue to work on this project with me, as kind of me, them, and NDOT, I wanted to request the appropriation of some additional funds for BF&S so we can keep the discussion going. Now,
Hey, Mark.
here's something. Yeah.
This is Carla. I just didn't hear. Can you tell me how much they're projecting?
About $1,200.
$1,200. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So to give you some background here, so in speaking with BF&S and NDOT, there's something that's called hardship relief. And what that means is that you take the town's gross water revenue for the prior year, and Michelle got that number for me, and just under our water, our gross revenue for 2019 was $284,550. So, if I'm understanding correctly, if the cost of the relocation of the water main and the fire hydrant is more than 10% of the annual gross revenue, then it would be considered under a hardship for the town, and NDOT would pay for it. Now, I'm confident that relocating a fire hydrant and the water main will cost far more than $28,000, which would be 10% of our gross revenue for water. So I think that we can accomplish that, but in all honesty, I don't want it moved. The fire hydrant I'm not concerned about, but if we move the water main, we're going to have many people temporarily out of water. The whole town will be under a boil order for quite some time, and it's just not as simple as these engineers seem to think it is. If everything went just as planned, it would be a disruption for 1 week, and that's if everything goes as planned, and it usually doesn't.
Wow.
So yeah, my approach is we need to redesign something so we don't have to move this water main. And that's the trail I'm going down right now with them. But in case they don't change the design, I wanted you to make you aware of how we might be eligible for state to pay for the work that needs done. So do you have any questions about, well, I guess I guess I'll answer any questions you have to clarify what I'm saying. But then secondly, I would need some type of a motion or suggestion or something where I can approve some additional funds, BF&S, on this State Road 38 project.
I'd make a motion that we approve the additional funds for BF&S.
I second it.
There's been a motion made by Ashley and seconded by Ron to approve the additional funds for BF&S for the State Road 38 NDOT project. Is there any discussion? Okay, we'll take a roll call vote. Carla?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Ann?
Yes.
Ashley?
Yes.
And I vote yes, so the motion passes 5-0.
Does anybody have any questions or different ideas on what stated concerning this? Okay, if not, I'll go ahead and move. It goes out for bid in April of 2021.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we have some time, but we'll see how it unfolds here. So also under streets, I have an item that's not on the agenda, and that is we've had some damage to some street signs and signposts and stuff. We've had some semis get off track and come through our neighborhoods, and my inventory's running a bit low on signposts and signs at the shop. So I reached out to Stello Signs, which was the company that supplied the signs and posts when the town did the big project back in 2014 to replace all the signage. And the reason I did that is I wanted to match. But anyway, I put together a list of items I needed. It would be street signs, stop signs, signposts, etc. And I got a quote from them for the items that I need for $1,200, more or less. So I'd like approval to place this order with Stello Signs out of Spencer, Indiana, so I can get my inventory back where it needs to be. So any questions about that?
I'd make a motion that we approve ordering signs and signposts from Stiletto Signs that Mark had mentioned.
I second it.
There's been a motion made by Ashley and seconded by Ron to approve the approximately $1,200 for Stello Signs for street signs, stop signs, and posts. Is there any discussion?
Yes, I'd like to ask a question. Stan and second that, not Ron, but do they deliver them for that? Do they deliver them for that $1,200 or?
Yes, that's including freight.
And Mark, when a semi runs those things down, like in the past, did we catch him and will they pay for some of that damage or their insurance, or how's that work?
I believe so. Scott has asked for some numbers as far as cost repairs, so I'll get those to him, and I guess that gets forwarded to the trucking company, I assume.
Okay, good. That's all.
Okay.
Okay, we'll take a roll call vote.
Okay.
We'll take a roll call vote. Ashley?
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Carla,
Yes.
and I vote yes, so the motion passes 5-0.
Okay, we'll move on to the next group. The next item is this USIC utility locate service. I had met with Ron and Stan about this a few weeks ago, and I reached out to USIC, which is a utility locating service that Vectron and different Duke Energy, different ones use here in Dayton. But whenever I got down to the brass tacks of it, I found out that they will locate our mains, but they won't locate the service lines to the homes. Well, that's they're just doing the easy part. So I think that as far as hiring, and they had a price of $20 per locate or per resident, and they would mark the water, sanitary, sewer, and stormwater mains, but they wouldn't do any laterals, and usually that's where the concern's at, is up in people's yards. So I think that as far as utilizing USIC on these locate, that's probably a no-go, but I appreciate the consideration on it anyway. Any questions about that? Okay,
Are
we'll
you
move
going
on
to try
to
to
the
find another locate service, or are you just?
No, I'm moving on. I'll just go ahead and do it myself.
Oh no, Mark.
Well, I think, and that's what the problem is that, the thing about Vectron or these other outfits, they have, whenever they put their lines in, they put in tracing wires. So these locating companies, they just onto the cable and it gives them a signal. Well, none of our lines were installed with tracing wires, and that's why it's a bit of a challenge for them. And so yeah, I think we'll just keep moving forward, and we'll just take it as it comes. Hopefully, and the reason this was brought up is because Mulberry Telephone's wanting to put this fiber optic in town, and if they get too far ahead of me, I'll tell them they'll just have to slow down. And that's with Mr. Maish of Mulberry Telephone, and he knows that's kind of the way things are going to go. So he's willing to work with me, and I'm going to count on that. So we'll move on to the next item, which is I sent all of you a copy of the request for bids for the leaf pickup. Did you all have a chance to look at that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there were a couple errors on it. Jen had pointed out to me, and I'll make those corrections. But I think we'll go ahead, and Jen, if you would put it on your website, and I'll have Michelle. Okay, and Michelle will put it on this one, and we'll go ahead and start soliciting for bids this week. And I believe I think they're due just prior to next month's board meeting, so we'll have the official bid opening at next month's board meeting for that. Did anybody else have any questions or concerns about the example that I sent you?
I do, and just a question on number 6. Is it normal to have a renewal that could potentially go on for forever with the same company? Is that normal to have that in with the bid?
I do not know. I'll let someone else answer that question. So whoever has more knowledge than me.
I'd like to say something. When we put these out for bids the last couple of times, we did some arguing about the extension of past the 2 years. And I think that clause ought to be taken out. You just bid first of all, there's new people coming in town that'd like to have a chance to bid on it. Secondly, if you get a company in there that is favorable to the board members at the time, they could just automatically extend that because of politics or favoritism. So usually you should have, we've been trying to set things on 2 years and then rebid everything to let all the new businesses have a chance at it and to be fair and have no political ties to it whatsoever.
Well, so what I would do then on number 6 I would still leave in there bids to be submitted for a minimum 2-year period, but then I would delete the rest of that sentence as far as with an option for a renewal.
Yes, that's right.
Mark?
Are you good with that? Yeah.
When you said to put it on the website and then Michelle would put it on the website, did you mean in the newspaper? Do we have to put this in the newspaper?
No, I just thought that you would put it on the town website, and then Michelle would also put it on hers. Plus, you had requested that it be, what was it? You had requested what was it on the utility bill you wanted, Jen?
Oh, you said in number 4, bidder can use the town's alert system and website for the notice to residents of pending pickup times. I just thought we could put that on the reminder part of the utility bill whenever those dates were set.
Do you understand what she's saying, Michelle?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you good with that?
Yeah, the thing is with bills, how they're being sent out, and with weather, the reach alert is just easier. I mean, we can put it on there, but I know last year we had to change the dates due to rain. But I mean, we'll still utilize the reach alert and put them on the bill, remind people, because a lot of people don't read that bottom section of their bill.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'll add one other thing on advertising. You know, in past years, I bet I called 6 or 7 companies, trying to solicit bids. And at the bid opening, you know, we only had 2 bids. So not like a lot of people will go after, you know, this type of a contract. That's all.
Well, you know, and I would hope, at least locally, we'd be looking at Kelly and Crandall would be our 2 that come to mind right off, but you never know. But I just hadn't considered, you know, to your question, Jen, I just hadn't considered putting it in the newspaper.
I didn't know if we had to.
I don't believe so.
No.
Because it's a low dollar amount.
Okay.
Now, am I speaking out of turn here? Does Stan or Ron or Ashley, do you think that, am I saying it right, that it's okay just to solicit bids?
Well, Rig's our attorney, and I'll rely on his answer. But you know, it's in a low. You're right. In a low dollar amount like this, you know, as long as you get a solicited number of quotes, is really, I think, all we need. You know, the formal bidding process, getting bid bonds and all this other stuff, and advertising in the newspaper. You know, that stuff's not necessarily cheap to do.
Right.
So, and plus, again, it's under the dollar amount that requires that type of diligence.
What do you think, Reed?
Yeah, I agree. It's not required to post in the newspaper.
Okay. So Jen, what I'm going to do is make these changes to what's sent to everyone, and I'll get that to you so you'll have a fresh thing to post. And I'll do that with Michelle also, and we'll go from there. Yeah. So the next item is tree trimming. So I received a list from Marshall Taylor of some trees that are blocking some street signs and stop signs in town. And I noticed some of them have already been addressed, so he's apparently spoke to some of the homeowners. But I didn't know how you want to proceed with this. Do we want to hire somebody to come in and trim these trees, or are we sticking with the thought that a tree, you need to trim it back?
In the past, if the vegetation's been on a homeowner's property, we required them to maintain it to some type of a standard. If the vegetation's on our property, then the town's property, then obviously we'd be able to remove it, I guess.
I think the friendliest way to do it is on the remaining ones on this list. I'll just stop at these homes and to them and say, hey, I noticed that the trees growing out there is blocking the view of the sign. Would you trim that back for us? And then we'll just see how it unfolds from there. That be all right?
That makes sense.
Sounds good.
Sounds great.
Would you want to do it with a letter or in person?
In person seems to work better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next item is 701 Turkey Run. So the homeowner there contacted me about a deteriorating sidewalk, and she's requesting probably 20 feet of sidewalk to be replaced there at her residence. I guess really this speaks to we need to put together some kind of program, whether it's a cost share program or we pay for it all or they pay for it all, whatever it may be, but we really need to get a policy in place that we can reference to all homeowners who have these concerns. Not going to happen tonight, so I guess I'm seeking some direction on how I should respond to the homeowner at 701 Turkey Run Court.
Mark, in the past few times we split it 50-50, but we do not have anything written down to that effect. So, you can go from there, I guess.
And in that scenario, was it up to the homeowner to get a contractor and have the work done and then just submit the bill to us and we'd reimburse our portion?
That's what's happened in the past when people had their sidewalk repaired or sections of it.
Okay, well that's a fair way to start the conversation. So I'll reach out to her.
This doesn't necessarily change. I guess you're reaching out to them or whatever, but in our ordinance, doesn't it specify or say that it's the homeowner's duty or responsibility? If so, would that mean we need to look into changing the ordinance in the future?
Well, I think you're right, Jen. We not only need to change this, but we need to have a policy that walks alongside that, so one supports the other. And I know we've been talking about this for a while, and we just need to kind of come to a consensus on what is fair. And I guess I need to take the time to reach out to some other communities and see what their different policies are. Some might pay for it all, some might pay half and half. I just don't know. But I think on my part, I'll try to gather at least some information about what different towns do in this scenario. But you're right, we need to make it a policy and the what do you call it?
Ordinance.
Yeah, the ordinance, match each other.
And I don't have it right in front of me. I thought I remembered reading that. It may not.
Yeah, I think you're right. In all honesty, I read that also. So we'll move on. I know I'm taking a bunch of time. I'll move on to this last item. Republican, Maine. There's a storm drain at the southeast corner on Mr. Bowman's property. So it's a storm water drain inlet. It's a cast iron grate. I was by there one day and he waved me down and asked if we make some adjustments to that, either I think to raise it up some so it's not so hard to mow around, I believe, but I can't promise you that. But I guess what I'm asking is I believe Mr. Bowman's been a long time resident of the community and I'm sure some of you know him. I'm asking that one or more of you stop by and visit with him and see what he's needing or if it makes sense or not.
What was that address?
He's at the corner of Republican and Maine. It's at the southeast corner of that intersection. It's the White House. He could care of his yard. It's a well place, and but yeah, if somebody would take the time to go speak to him, I'd appreciate it. And from there,
Mark, I'd like to go back to the sidewalk at 701 Turkey Run. That's on a corner of Cagle and Turkey Run. That's one of them that corner sidewalk needs to be redone to be ADA compliant. Is that correct?
Yes.
You know, I would like to see our town, not only, put something together, repair sidewalks, but also to make improvements to these non-compliant corners to get them ADA compliant. I think that program ought to be implemented. We've got several of those around town. Most of them are in the Presswood area that I'm aware of. Just, as a side note.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, and I agree. We need to keep those updated. Some of them aren't in any way weren't when they were installed, but that's those ADA ramps, tearing out the old and putting in a new proper ramp is not cheap. I think you can expect to pay anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000 per ramp, and we've got our share of them that need replaced. And I don't know what fund walks come out of or what it is, but I'm just making you aware that there's significant cost.
Mark, can we do some of them with it, like we look at it in the fall? Maybe some are connected to the the crossroad money and redoing the streets. I mean, if you hook them to the streets, you can get them.
Sure.
The 80% paid for. Maybe we could get quite a few by proper planning getting done with that.
Right. Yeah. And I think you're right. At least we can get part of the cost share to take care of that. But and there's plenty of sidewalks that need repaired also. It's not a small thing. But yeah, let me reach out to some other communities that are similar in size, and let me see what their policies are on sidewalks, and at least to address this one, and we'll go from there. So I know I've given you plenty of information about stuff. Feel free to, if something comes to you later on, feel free to email me or give me a call, and I'll give you all the information I got and clarify any questions for you.
Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, comments from the council. I have a couple. So the moratorium for utility shutoffs is set to end, and we're still waiting on the information that we requested from Michelle, and it's kind of hard to make a plan without knowing like the scope of the issue we're dealing with, but I don't want any mass disconnect. So I'm not really sure where to go from here.
So is Michelle getting you that information? Is that what, did you ask for it or what?
Well, I gave her a list last month. I just haven't given her the current list because we have people that pay their bill going into the first and second week to give her an accurate thing. So I can print off a more accurate one right before I upload these bills on the 15th. Well, it actually would be Friday. But my office already didn't plan on doing any mass disconnects. Tammy and I have already talked about this. We have already we've always have done payment plans. So as you and Ron know, since you're on the listserv, somebody had sent out a recommendation from a financial advisor of examples of things how to handle this so people aren't getting mashed up. So my suggestion is to keep allowing to do payment arrangements. I don't know if we say you've got 3 months, 4 months, 5 months to pay your past due balance up, but I already was never planning on doing mass disconnects. We had already talked about doing a payment arrangement, so we've already been working on that.
I would have to double check, but I thought today I heard Governor Holcomb in his address. I thought he said that we have to give them a minimum of 6 months to get caught up, but I don't know for sure. I'd have to double check that.
And that's completely fine.
Yeah.
So we've always just done like notes in their account when they do a payment arrangement. I don't know if with the whole COVID thing, if we just need to keep a log on who's on that payment arrangement. But just in the past, we've just made notes on their account so that it keeps track of it all.
Okay.
Jen, and Michelle, do we need to sometime the council talk about it and come up with all of us to have some kind of a decide together what a payment plan should be? I think it should be the council.
Yeah.
If you want to, Jen and I can speak and maybe brainstorm, and then when we have that meeting in a couple weeks, present it at that, if Shay with that, and Reed and you guys are all okay with that, so that we're all on the same page.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Good.
Yeah. So then we can double check like what we have to do, and I think that'll be good.
Okay, I'll send you the list tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
Updated.
Thanks. Okay. The next thing is we have our new trash company picking up, and we had just a couple minor issues, and I'll make a spot on the website where people can report their issues and contact me. Michelle offered, and she's been taking care of this, but it falls under the council instead of the clerk. So I'd like to be the contact person with our rep from Trash Cans, and then if people hear about a problem, then they can call me, email me, message me, or fill out the form on the website.
What makes you think it falls under the council?
Jen?
Like, you do the billing, obviously, but I'm talking about like my trash got skipped or
yeah, but what makes you think that that's your responsibility when it's been the clerk's office? Because it's not in your job description either.
Well, you take care of the billing and everything.
I take care of a lot more than billing. My job is not just paying bills. If you get council's elected responsibilities and clerk treasurers, I have a lot more than you guys, and it's always been the same. Most residents, almost 100% of residents, personal message me on Facebook, and I get the situation handled in a matter of a minute. So I don't understand why you would think that if I got calls and I needed to forward them to you, why would we sit there and do all of these things when before me, and I've talked to previous council members for years, as a council member, ever been in charge with taking utility call or trash calls.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
Okay. The past clerks and the past way we've done it have been all different. Generally, a lot of times it went to a council member. Some years it went to our town manager, some years, and it sort of, it was varied over the deal. But we also are behind on reconcilements. We're behind on getting a lot of fund reports, minutes, and everything that we're 3-4 months behind, that you have quite a bit to do, Michelle, as a new clerk. And we're trying to get you help to do it and everything. But I think this is something the council, as it goes along, certain council members want to do certain things. So I make a motion to make Jen our single point of contact for everything except billing with our new trash service.
Is Jen also going to deliver all of the replacement cans and when people want extra cans as well?
Well, I did it for years, Michelle, and I sure can do it again.
Well, I mean, Jen is utilities and she's offering to do it, so.
I made a motion, Jen.
I can get that done.
I second the motion.
There's been a motion made by Ron and seconded by Stan to make Jen the single point of contact for the trash service for everything except billing. Is there any other council discussion?
I would like to point out that, we have a town hall, we have a clerk's office in that town hall. That's a pretty permanent situation. Council members come and go. So potentially every 4 years, every time you have an election, if a council member is in charge of trash cans, then, you have a re-education process amongst residents on where to get their questions answered. I believe that the vast majority of residents, if they have a problem with trash pickup or water or sewer or streets or anything that has to do with town government, their first point of contact is going to be the town hall and the clerk's office. I think, we're putting another third wheel in the mix here that is totally unnecessary.
I'd like to say something.
Ashley,
in the last 4 years, we've had 3 different clerks. So I think the councils may be a little more stable sometimes in the clerk situation in this town. So, and I don't think.
Why did we have 3 clerks?
Michelle, excuse me, I'm talking. I don't think this is, takes a ton of learning to learn this deal. So we got a motion, we got a second.
And I do think a lot of people call town hall, but instead of, they're going to see it on the website. Or I wonder, when you call town hall and you can get transferred to the police or transferred to Mark or transferred to Michelle's office, how easy is it, or would it cost money to add an option that says for trash issues and then it comes to me?
Well, Jen, we have to sit here, first of all, and log. And I'm not going to sit here and hound you down and depend on you to keep the log of all of the serial numbers and when people have to get it added to their billing. So that is me, because that is billing, because when people ask for extra trash cans, there's an extra fee. So I think before taking on another job, maybe you should come to my office and look at the APVs and everything else that you're supposed to do, that you're behind on, before you take stuff that I've been doing with no problem. And bank reconciliations are not behind, Ron. It's because you want Susie to go all the way back to 2018.
Okay,
so there's no need to continue.
That's what we're talking about.
Okay, well, is there a council discussion?
I'm going to tell you now, if residents contact me, I'm not forwarding the messages to you. I will handle it. So if people want to contact you, that's fine.
Okay, Carla or Stan, do you have anything before we take a roll call vote?
Nope.
No.
Okay. There's been a motion made and seconded. We're going to take a roll call vote. Carla?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Ashley?
No.
I vote yes, so the motion passes 4-1. One other thing that I just wanted to say, so since the beginning, we've said that we want to lower our utility bills, and we found out that we're paying some expenses from the utilities that I think we shouldn't be. So we need to find out why our utility fund balances are declining, even though our loans are actually paid off. And I'm still waiting on some info from Michelle about what's being taken from those accounts. I just wanted to, I guess, put that out there because I said something about it at the last meeting.
You have the appropriation report right there in front of you. It's the report that you guys get at the meetings, and you guys have all the other months in your mailboxes. So you do have it right in front of you.
Jen, to add on about your comment about us lowering water bills and utility bills, I'd reached out to Steve Brock, a municipal financial advisor who has worked with us with this town for years and done our water rates and all this stuff and studies. And he recommended we do a analysis and look for ways that we could reduce the bills to the residents. And we have not really done one in 6 or 7 years, I think. So I asked him to send us a proposal so that we'll have for our next meeting, so we can start actively looking into where all our monies are going and where the monies are being spent out of utilities, and see if we can indeed lower these utilities somewhat. So just wanted to add that.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Yeah, Ron, you're correct. Ron, you're correct. The water, Steve Brock looked at the water probably 5 years ago, I believe. It was when you and I first got on the council. Our sewer hasn't been looked at for, I bet it's been probably close to 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, I think
so
it
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely time that, Steve Brock or somebody like a Steve Brock takes a look at the sewer aspect of it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay, Ashley, did you have any other council comments?
No.
Okay, Ron, did you?
No.
Carla?
No.
Dan?
No.
Okay, I just need a motion to adjourn then.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
There's been a motion made by Stan and seconded by Carla to adjourn. I'll take a roll call vote. Carla?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
Ashley?
Yes.
Okay, meeting adjourned. Hey, Ron, you're up.
Okay. It is the August 12th, 2020 regular meeting of the Dayton Town Council. Jen already made an opening statement and did the roll call. All the council members, our clerk, our marshal, town manager, and our attorney are still on the line, so we will proceed. First on the agenda is the town attorney. Reed, do you have anything?
No, I do not, other than the next item, which is the BF&S engineering contract. So nothing to add.
Okay. So we have, go ahead. Okay, so we have new and old business now. First thing on it is, Reed, you want to explain the BF&S General Engineering Services contract?
Yeah, BF&S, as a town engineer, always operates under their general engineering service agreement that they've had in place for the work that they do on a regular basis. They update this. I think it's been several years since they've updated it, but that's what this contract is. They've sent it over for our review, for my review, and I don't have any issues from a legal standpoint. So I'd be okay with you guys approving this new agreement to continue to engage their services.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the BF&S engineering service contract.
I second that. This is Jen.
Okay. We have a motion by Stan and a second by Jen to approve the BF&S engineering services contract. We'll take a roll call vote. Jen?
Yes.
Carla?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
Ashley?
Yes.
And Ron, I vote yes, so it passes 5-0. Okay, the next thing on the agenda here is we need to secure the new security system storage in the back room. I have an estimate from Haley's for the cabinet and for them to labor to install the unit in it is for $390, and I would like to go ahead and complete that system.
I make a motion to hire Haley's to deliver and install the storage cabinet for the security system for $390.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Jen and a second by Carla to hire Haley's to deliver and install the storage cabinet for the security system. We'll have a roll call vote. Jen?
Yeah.
Carla?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
Ashley?
No.
Ron, I vote yes, so it passes 4-1. Okay, I have one more thing on the new and old business. I think it comes under this. Jeff Shelley, who has hung our flags in this town for over 15 years, was removed as a town employee and listed as an independent contractor at the end of last year for political reasons. He needs to be added back on as an employee. So I will make a motion to put Jeff Shelley back on as a town employee. Any discussion, please? Any second?
I second that.
Okay. We got a motion on the floor and a second. Any discussion?
I think you want to consider making him as an at-will employee as opposed to just an employee, because he doesn't just work. I mean, you need him, you call him, he works, you pay him, right?
Right.
All employees are at will in Indiana.
All right. Okay.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Well, the thing is you want him on there because he's your employee so he can file unemployment during the winter months. But I've already provided you guys the new unemployment law that he cannot file unemployment against us because he does not work enough hours. He is seasonal. So he is your employee. He is not the town.
He is our employee and we pay unemployment insurance and he will file that way. So we have a motion and a second.
He cannot collect unemployment per the unemployment law. I've already provided you this law in black and white.
That's his decision. That's fine, Michelle. So we have a motion.
Oh, okay. So we can break the law for your employees. Okay, got it.
He hasn't filed unemployment yet,
Michelle, I don't
Not
think
yet.
he would be. I don't think he would file against the town for unemployment. He would file with his main employer.
No, he
For
collects
the
on the
employment.
town. I have all of the documents to prove it, and he has for years.
Making him an employee.
You
Well,
can
according to
also.
the State Board of Accounts, he is not supposed to be an employee.
Michelle.
Again, it's Ron's employee.
He's been an employee for 15 to 20 years. We took him off.
He's your employee.
We took him off in the past so people's relatives could be put on. They took him off in the past. Your husband was put on. Everybody
My husband
files.
paid it. That's it.
Excuse me. Everybody files for unemployment insurance. The town in 10 or 15 years has probably paid out of our thousands of dollar kitty, probably $200, $250. If we don't if nobody uses that unemployment, it goes to the general fund. We don't get anything back and it does not hurt our rate. But whatever, we won't do anything that's illegal. So anyway, we got a motion in a second.
I have a question.
Okay.
If he were to file against the town for unemployment, could the town not, what's the word I want, refuse or to, excuse me?
You have 10 days. You have 10 days to contest after you get the initial notice. Yeah.
And
so if you were to contest and then just go through those steps, and then
that's right.
And it would not be against the town that he would collect against, correct?
Correct.
Correct. The town could do that.
Is the only purpose of him being a town employee so that he can put flags up periodically throughout the year and take them down?
Well, look, in the past, before we got the politics into it, he did whatever the town asked him to do, from carrying garbage out to moving stuff upstairs to downstairs to moving files from the upstairs of the town hall to the police station, because basically nobody ever wanted to do it. Okay. And he was always out in Dayton, so it made it easy. But he would put up all the Christmas banners, all the flags. That's what he's been doing the last 15, 20 years, besides when he used to do the other stuff.
So
well, the thing is, though, Ron, is more than just Jeff, that's your employee does work for the town. Well, that you have them do for the town. So you've got Louie and you've got another employee of yours that comes in here and you have us pay, but why aren't you wanting to make them employees and just Jeff? So that's what I don't get. Why are you wanting to have, so you're playing favoritism. You want Jeff to be a town employee, but you don't want Louie and the other guy that hangs flags and does work around the town.
Well,
so
I don't know what the heck you're getting at, but your husband also works for the town in the past. And are we saying he works and somebody else doesn't? That's all, Michelle. That's just, he just was an employee for all these years, and it was all pure 100%, 1000% politics. So we need to move on with this. We've got a motion and a second. Let's have a roll call vote.
We're having a discussion, aren't we?
Do what?
You know, we're having a discussion, aren't we?
Well, I thought you were done, and I thought Michelle.
No, I'm not done.
Well, go ahead and speak.
So if he's a town employee, I mean, is he willing to plow snow, paint curbs, help read water, you know, do the hookups and shutoffs and things like that? You know, Mark's needing help doing his job, especially in the wintertime, doing snow plowing and some of this other stuff during the summertime. So is Jeff going to be available to fulfill that role?
Well, I'm sure he could be, Ashley. But I think sometime in the future, in the real quick near future, we need to start looking for a helper for Mark that is semi to full time to help get this stuff done. And then we don't need a Jeff.
That's my point. This discussion. So is this our person for that position?
No, this isn't that person for the position. We can put it out tomorrow. If somebody wants to do it and hang flags, fine. It's always been a thing that we used our trucks, our ladders, we're insured for as much or more than the town. And it's always been a nice thing that it helped the town and everybody, you know, it just worked out good. But if somebody else would like to do it, fine.
Well, I think we ought to look at the bigger picture here and find that employee that can help fill in for Mark when he's on vacation and help out with, you know, plowing snow. I mean, you know, if you don't know, you'll find out it takes two people when you're plowing snow in this town, at least. Sometimes you can use more than that. But, you know, we need to fulfill that row for Mark. So instead of hiring, you know, you said it probably isn't this person, you know, why don't we look for that person to fulfill that row?
Ashley, we've been looking for years for extra people, and it seems to me like in the last 10 years, the only people we have extra is an employee's son or an employee's or elected official's husband. Okay, so there's not a ton of people. It'll take some time to find this person. We can start looking tomorrow morning for a person, but in the meantime, we've been hanging these for a lot of years, Ashley.
Mark Harlow had asked for help looking for a person, probably not more than 3 months ago, 4 months ago, and he was shot down by this council. So now you're saying that's on the tape. You know, it's strange how we shot him down 4 months ago, and now you want to hire this person.
Ashley, you know, I don't remember him asking for help that we cut down. I've actually talked to Mark about when he'll be retiring and to get the next few years under our belts and just plan ahead for this. I don't talk about Mark saying that we couldn't.
I'm not talking about him retiring. I'm not talking about hiring his replacement. I'm talking about hiring him help that he needs now. I mean, you know, he's got 100 things to do every day, and especially, you know, with the construction going on here in town and things like that. And yet you're saying, you know, this person that you're talking about hiring is not going to be that person. Well, instead of
this person we're hiring,
I don't think we're voting to hire Jeff. He's already done it.
He has not done a proper employment background check, drug screen, and all of that. So he was never properly. He was just thrown on the payroll. That's all it was. He gets like 2 paychecks a year.
There's a lot of other people that have been thrown on the payroll too, Michelle. So if you want to,
you know what? If you remember, Ron, there was a vote last year.
We'll get it.
Okay. Well, there was a vote last year to hire my husband. Okay, can you quit talking? If you remember in June, Mark brought it up to the council. You were one of the 5 voters. It was 5-0. Mark brought up to hire my husband because everybody that applied to be Mark's helper was either not qualified or lived too far away, and he wanted somebody in town. So he asked if my husband could paint the curbs and then help him mow and all of that and like plow in the winter. It was 5-0. No, I'm not done. And when Mark just went on vacation and needed help, he told you that Steve was going to go do the water as he always did, and you said no. So let's talk about politics, because my husband did go through the proper vote in hiring, yet you sat here and denied an actual employee to do Mark's help during his vacation because you don't like me. So guess what? None of you went and checked the water at all that whole week while Mark was gone.
Okay.
So we never got water testing.
And you're out of NDOT compliance.
Yep.
Well, I told Mark that I would test it myself if need be, if he would, and all he had to do was ask. So there's a lot of
goes. Steve would do it, and you said no way.
There's a lot of things that go in that we shouldn't be talking about tonight on that. So.
Exactly, politics.
But,
absolutely, politics.
Yeah, you want to start talking about Facebook and illegal stuff on Facebook? And said no, we don't want to. Let's vote on this thing.
This is another item that was not on the agenda tonight.
We have a motion on the floor, Ashley, and everybody.
It's okay, because Ron added it.
Michelle, would you please stop interrupting? We have a motion on the floor to hire Jeff back as the employee, put him back as an employee. So and we got a second on it, so we're going to do a roll call vote. Jen, how do you vote?
Yes.
Carla, how do you vote?
Yes.
Stan, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ashley, how do you vote?
No.
Ron, I vote yes, so the vote is 4-1 to put him back as employee. Okay, next on the next on the agenda is the claims. Hang on just a second. The claims allowance docket and various reports. I want to say something here. We've already established that we will not approve the claims without the APV and the invoices and statements, and we cannot approve the allowance docket without the time cards. The reports Michelle gave us are for July, and we can't approve these without first approving prior months and have the corresponding bank recs. We don't have any of the minutes, including from July, to approve. So we'll put all this on hold until we have the documents, reports, and evidence, and then we'll set a meeting in a week or two from there and get everything approved. In the meantime, I'm requesting that Reed draft up a revision to our internal control ordinance to require the internal control documents that we need by law requested by the council to be uploaded to a shared file for all the council to access and for them to be printed upon request.
I do not have to do that. All I have to do is make them
now we
required. I've already talked to my attorney and State Board of Accounts. They're in here. You guys just refuse to do your job.
Now we have the clerk treasurer's report.
Can I say something real quick, Ron, about the allowance docket, even though we're not voting on it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I noticed on Carla's pay, it looks like she got paid for area plan, but I don't think that meeting has even happened yet this month.
I did send Michelle an email about that. That I thought something wasn't quite right. She said she emailed back that I was accidentally paid for the APC meeting, and she said then we'll just let that go, and she'd not pay me for it in the next pay. So,
Jen, that's not even on this allowance docket because it's not part of July's pay. So you're not looking at it.
Paid before?
No, you can't.
Of the meeting?
I mean, if Carla wants to sit here and return that money, and then I'll give it back to her then again at this pay thing. So, I mean, if that's what she wants to do, go ahead and bring the money back.
Well, now what?
The button accidentally got clicked to pay her. It's no different than Al getting paid for APC meetings that he never attended. Did you guys want me to go back and take that money away from Al as well because I wasn't aware that he did not attend those meetings?
I'm just asking if she can be paid before they happen.
Okay, can Al be paid for something that he did not attend?
We're not talking about can she get paid for it. Just Carla, you can't get paid until you attended, and you can't get paid ahead of time. So if you got
if it's allowed and Carla doesn't care, that's one thing. But I don't want us getting in trouble for paying.
It's not allowed. It's not allowed.
Okay, so then Carla needs to return back that money, and then we need to go talk to Al and have him return the funds for the APC meetings that he attended or did not attend, but he got paid. So you guys need to also make a motion.
He was still our APC rep.
It doesn't matter. If he did not attend them, he does not get paid for that meeting. It's the same thing that you're saying right now. So you're saying that Carla, because she got accidentally paid. Huh?
I'm just saying because it hasn't happened. She got paid for the meeting occurred. You know what I mean? So
but Al got paid for something that he did not do. So
Michelle,
it's the same thing.
He was still.
How did he get paid? Didn't he turn in a? How did you pay him for going to an area plan meeting?
Nobody has ever turned in a form by going to APC. It's just known if you're the APC person, you're supposed to be going.
Michelle, you cannot pay a bill unless somebody turns in a claim sheet by law. You can't do
that.
Not
a bill. It's payroll.
I wouldn't be paying any more ahead without a claim sheet.
I wasn't paying ahead. The button accidentally got hit.
Okay, you weren't paying ahead. I wouldn't pay for anything without a claim sheet, Michelle.
Okay. Okay.
Ron, that's not correct.
Can I ask a question?
Ron, it's no different. It's no different, Ron, than you getting paid extra to be board president. It's in the salary ordinance. So there is no pay sheet. There's no pay sheet on things that are in the salary ordinance.
With area plan, well, unless
you got. Ron, let me ask a question. Can I ask a question, please?
Yes.
Reed, can you clarify if this is an issue or not? I just don't want any kind of potential issue down the road. That's my only concern. So is this okay to just leave it and then not be, because I think Michelle said once last month that it's normally on the last pay of the month, and so it happened on the first pay this month. So if it doesn't matter that I just get paid once a month for it, and that's fine, I don't care. If it's a potential issue that I got paid before a meeting that I haven't yet attended, should I just write a check back to the town and have Michelle reissue? I just want to do what's right and proper. And so that's my only concern.
Sure. Yeah. I just have to look into it. I mean, this is all new information to me, so I can't give you my legal advice on the spot here, but be happy to get back to everyone.
Well, and for the fact that this has to do with August allowance docket, not July, so Jen, you didn't see it, but
thanks. It's a
nice job.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is everybody okay with that? Just wait for Reed to kind of check into it, make sure we're not, no laws got broken, nobody's going to get in trouble. Me or Michelle, either one, nobody's going to get in trouble for anything. We just want to make sure that everything's done in a proper fashion. That's all I'm caring about.
That's a good idea.
Okay. Are you okay with that, Michelle?
Whatever the boss says.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Clerk treasurer's report. Michelle, do you have anything?
Well, even though you guys didn't approve the claims docket, I was going to let you know the $16,000 claim that's on there for BF&S for Yost Drive is the last bill that was submitted that was completed prior to your guys' pause on Yost Road. Just so that you guys were aware, this was not a new bill. This was an invoice that was before you guys made that vote.
Good. Yes, you can pay that because it's approved ahead of time for them to do the work. So
I know. I'm just letting you guys know we've not paid more. This was the last one.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. Thank you. Anything else?
Oh, can you guys do a motion to pay my bill? Because I didn't put that in the allowance docket.
So why does yours get paid, Reed, but nobody else's gets paid? I mean, why can't yours be approved when the rest of the claims docket gets approved? I mean, that's.
We have a, because Michelle, I think we have
the only reason that.
Sorry.
All that
I mean, we just got your invoice on Monday. It wasn't 5 days before the meeting like Ron wants to use every time about approving an invoice. So if he wants to follow the law like Jen likes to say, then your invoice was not turned in 5 days before the meeting. So are we going to pick and choose when we follow that so-called law?
Michelle, he has a contract, just like with BF&S. There is not the time limits and stuff.
There is a lot of people in this claims docket where we have contracts and implement fees, yet you want to sit here and delay it yet once again because you want to play these games.
We don't want to sit here. You can pay all the utilities and all the things we have contracts with and are like, the water and stuff. You just can't pay these vendors until we okay them, until we see the bill for the vendor work.
So they're right here. Walk in the office and get them. I do not legally have to copy every single thing. You guys are not being fiscally responsible. You're wanting me to spend all of this other time.
Okay, let me say something here.
So,
you were nice enough when we first asked you a long time ago. You were nice enough to download 67 different bills and send them to Jen individually, so she would have to do the work, put them together, and she emailed them to all us. Then later, we asked you again, all we want you to do is simply download it when a bill comes in, put them in a file and send them to us. Later, instead of doing that, you ran a hard copy, probably 300 copies per each, probably 1,000 copies. And then you sent them all to us. But on Facebook too, you had your hand up with those copies saying, look what they made me do. Now,
I didn't post that.
Michelle, we're trying to get you help on doing the books.
Ron,
the
I
budget.
am not going to sit here.
Hang on, Michelle, hang on a second,
Baby
please.
you.
We're trying to get you help on as much as we can. All we do,
I need your help by doing your job.
Well, Michelle,
by coming in. You guys do not have any respect for me and my job. Well, you're always talking.
Michelle, whether we come in there or you download them and send them to us, it takes 7 to 8 to 9 hours to go over all these bills. We don't want to go up into a public place that you got to wear a mask and people are walking in and out, and these things are, what does I come in and sit next to Jen, sit next to Stan, sit next to Ashley, or do we all come in at different times? It's really a pain. You know,
I have a question, Ron.
Any clerk has always sent these things to anybody.
No, they have not.
But I want to bring up, Michelle, I want to bring up one thing. I have an email from you to us that also you said you would gladly get any of these documents, send them to us on an email, download them and send them to us without griping in the future. But your stipulation was we don't do the security system in the town hall. So if you can do that,
because there already is a security system. It's called,
you can do that. You can do it at any time, Michelle. But by law, we do not have to okay those claims until our clerk provides us with that information. And we're asking not to come in there, not to be harassed, not to be have a videotape, not to.
You're the one who's harassed.
We don't come in there, Michelle.
Ron, for the past 4 years that you were on the council.
It's allowed by ordinance, Michelle. It's allowed by ordinance. That we can
but the past okay, Ron, you're done talking. It's my turn. So the past 4 years that you were on the council, how many times did Lena or Alex print the invoices, all of the invoices and APVs for any of the council members? How many times?
How many
times?
I know
all of 2019, it never happened.
How many times in the last 4 years have we not gone up in a town thing with the coronavirus and not even had meetings? So we're asking
Ron, every town is having meetings.
Let's move on. Okay.
Well, I'm telling you, legally, I don't have to make copies. I only have to provide them for inspection, and I'm legally doing that. End of discussion.
Yeah,
if Reed wants to fight about it, Reed can contact my attorney.
Yeah, you can do what you want.
I don't have anything to do with this.
Yeah. I don't know if this.
Well, you do if they're trying to make a rule that you're going to legally try and make me do it because you can't.
Michelle, one other thing is I asked 22
there's a deadlock.
Ago,
they've requested it. They're not approving it. I mean,
it
has nothing to do with a legal interpretation. I mean,
and it's just not on this. 22 days ago after the last meeting, a few days after, I asked for all the past minutes, fund reports, appropriations, everything that we haven't approved. And Michelle, as of Thursday, I had to ask you again, you still hadn't sent us one of those documents. So
I said I had a couple weeks because I had my budget workshop and we had to sit there and copy 1,000 pages for Susie. So Michelle, and all of those documents are sitting in your guys' mailboxes.
But I asked you, Michelle, I asked you 21 days before that to get them, and you hadn't. And these are documents that everything is from 2, 3,
well, you
4.
Didn't, Ron. You asked for them at the last meeting.
These should be all done, and all you got to do, they should all be done and completed, and you just send them to us with the computer. They're not something you had to go and physically do, So. But now
I did, Ron.
Can you wait for your pay for the next meeting in a week? Once we get those documents in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
The documents are right here in your mailbox.
Why don't we
come into town hall and do your job?
No, we don't even know they're up there until right now that you said this. You haven't notified us.
You know what, Ron? How many emails have I sent the town council in the past week, and not one single person has answered any of those emails back? I don't want to hear your junk.
I think I've answered each of your emails, Michelle, by saying thank you.
You have not answered a single one. Thank you.
I have absolutely too. But anyway,
my invoices have not been included on the allowance docket the entire time I've been town attorney. There's been a separate motion required for my invoices at every meeting, which I'm fine with.
Correct, but Jen now made the rule that there's a law
Okay.
that says no invoices can be approved unless it's been turned in 5 business days before a meeting, and your invoice was not. It was 2 days ago.
I
So,
made that?
But Reed,
you brought it up, Jen.
can we when you have a
But
contract?
yes, I can wait.
No, but when you have a
wait.
contract with your town lawyer, can that go ahead and be paid by a motion, or if it hasn't been turned in 5 days, or should it wait?
According to
believe that
Reed,
it can be
still has to
paid
go
as long as
through.
there's a vote to approve. All I said 2 meetings ago was that, yes, this is what the law says in regards to the 5-day rule. I had not looked into it. And I mean, I believe that that is to try to get information from the clerk 5 days in advance, that the town doesn't have to approve it. I believe that that's something that the town council could waive and go ahead and approve if they wanted to. But I mean, it's not always the,
Yeah.
Here's the law. If you do something different, it's against the law, or it's a violation. I mean, that's what you guys don't understand.
Okay, so you're willing.
So they get to pick and choose whose invoices they can pay.
Michelle, please be quiet. You're willing then to look into it, Reed. And I thought contracts with people can be paid by ordinance, no matter about the law. But I make a motion to approve Reed's invoices. If he thinks it's legally okay to approve, I make that motion.
I second it.
Okay, Reed, do you think it's legally okay to make that motion?
Yes, as long as you guys approve, you have my invoice, you approve it. It's already in a contract. You can approve it.
Okay. Then
I thought that's what you guys do all the time. I mean,
yeah,
Mark Harlow brings up invoices all the time that are, he's just asking for your approval to pay them, that after the work's been completed and been submitted.
Yeah, and we have a contract and it's by ordinance. So we have a motion.
And I think that you guys can waive that 5-day rule if, Michelle gets something to you 2 or 3 days instead of 5 days.
Okay, well, it'd be
you
nice
don't have
if you
to, though. You don't have to.
if you can research that, we'd really appreciate it. So anyway, we have a motion that's okayed by our town lawyer and seconded. We'll take a roll call vote. Jen, how do you vote?
Yes.
Carla, how do you vote?
Yes.
Stan, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ashley, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ron, I vote yes, so it passes 5-0. Okay.
Well, if that's the case that you guys are going to approve Reed,
anything,
I
Michelle,
have one more, Ron.
Is there anything else, Michelle, you have under the clerk treasurer's report?
Yes, I was speaking until you just stopped me, which was really rude. Thank you. So since we're approving Reed's, and you guys, Reed explained about how Mark can turn out invoices without you guys seeing it. So Ashley, I had to call Ashley at, it was sometime in July, about birds being up in the bathroom and bugs that were coming down, bird mites and everything. So he had me get a hold of Nate's handyman service, who has done work for Town Hall before, and he came in and cleaned it all up and put something outside to keep the birds from coming in. So Ashley, being building and maintenance, approved him coming in and doing that work. So I have an invoice from Nate's handyman service for $140 that I would like to ask for approval for.
Okay. My opinion is I don't think we should do it because we do not have a prior contract with him like our town attorney, like BF&S and stuff. Let's let Reed look into it.
You just said Mark can approve them. Reed just said that.
Michelle,
Michelle, I said if there is a contract, but regardless, the town council always does get to decide. It's not a rule. They get to decide whether they want to approve. Yes, they get to decide
who they want to pay and who they don't want to pay.
Absolutely,
Michelle
that's
brought it
the
up,
whole
we're not going
role.
to pay it.
That's the whole role of the town council. That's why we go through all of this.
And that's why there's so many laws.
They either approve something or they don't approve something.
Okay. Anything else, Michelle?
So Reed, if we have
treasurer report.
So you guys, as a town council, could approve that if you want to, but you don't have to. pretty simple.
No, we're just going to approve
You guys can wait.
because.
Okay, anything else, Michelle?
Nope.
Okay, thank you for your enlightening report.
Well, what's the point of having a report, Ron,
Any comments now from the rest of the council?
Yeah, exactly. You get cut off.
Any comments from the rest of the council?
Yes.
This is Jen. I have none.
Okay, Jen, you have none? Okay,
Right.
Ashley, what did you?
I've got comments on the bills. You know, we have bills on there for the community crossing work that we had done. So that's, you know, $200,000 or $300,000 or $100,000 or $200,000 worth of invoices. I certainly hope those can be paid. I think they're under contract. Would you agree?
They have been paid.
You are right, Ashley. They can be paid because they're under contract. So
They've already been paid.
okay.
I think it's a shame. Yeah, I think it's a shame that you know, we're holding these vendors hostage to you know, this squabbling back and forth. I think that's very unprofessional of us. There's other ways to accomplish things, and I think it's a damn shame that this town council can't do their job.
Well, Ashley, it's the law that we're trying to follow. It's the law that we're not trying to get in trouble with. Okay, so anything else, Ashley?
No, Ron, it's politics. It's 100% politics, and you know, this has never been a problem up until here just recently. So, you know, yes, it's a law, but it's politics.
Let me ask Michelle a question. When a bill comes in, not from a contract or something, but a bill comes in from, say, Mark, we buy a new computer and we get it in there and he installs it and gives us a bill. Do you pay it? And it's in the middle of the month. Do you go ahead and pay that, or do you wait until it's approved at the town board?
A lot of the time I will create the check right before the allowance docket is created so that a check is not sitting in my safe for 3 weeks, because that's not proper. And then so the checks will be sitting in the safe, and then once the council approves it, then I drop them in the mail that night.
Okay, that's
for
good.
the stuff that is not normal stuff.
That's right. That's the way it should be. So, okay, we're going to have a meeting, and as soon as we get, you say those documents we need to pass all those prior minutes and everything is in our mailbox now. Is that what you said?
Yep.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Because I didn't see any email come through on it, but thank you then, and we'll pick this up, and we'll schedule a meeting for in a week or two.
Also, can I add one thing to my clerk treasurer report, because since I was being cut off, I forgot about it?
Yes.
I wanted to thank Ashley Stevenson for last week when the semi drove over those 2 signs. I know he's not streets, but he had just pulled in his driveway from vacation, and he went straight out there and put up those temporary signs. So I do want to thank him on behalf of those residents for taking that responsibility, since the streets person was not able to get a hold of. So I just wanted to give Ashley that thanks from everybody and give him the credit for getting out and doing that.
I hope the streets.
I didn't even hear about that. Nobody called me.
Yeah, I don't think anybody even calls.
I would have loved to help.
They're not streets, so they wouldn't have called you.
Nobody called me.
Yeah, I know for a fact that when people call Stan, he's out there all the time, you know. So thank you, Ashley, though, for doing that, for being called and getting those signs up. And we can probably thank a lot of other people for clearing substations out and backhoe and stuff and picking up dead animals and all this too. So we thank them all. Anybody else on the council would like to speak?
Nope.
Carla?
I don't have anything, but I was thinking that the marshal was supposed to talk this evening about something, but
sorry, he wasn't. I forgot all about that. Sorry about that. Scott Taylor or Marshall Taylor, would you like to bring up something?
Are you talking to the marshal now?
Yes, talking to Scott Taylor, Marshall Scott Taylor.
Yes, I'd like to make a request for the approval to attend training for both myself and Officer Matt Devine. The training will be in October. It's a 3-day class in Lebanon, Indiana. There won't be any overnight stays, and we'll drive squad car each of those days. So it's just for the price of the class, which is $399 per person, so roughly $800. This is a part of our ILEA 24 hours of mandated training each year. I know that I've made requests last couple of telephone meetings that we've had. The first request was for a small 4-hour class, which was $60. And then we signed up for Police One training, which was a $395 yearly prescription that all our officers can take. To date, me and Officer Devine have 7 hours of training, so we still need additional hours, and this will help towards that. Our budgeted LECE budget account currently has approximately $9,600 in it, and we are that account is growing faster than we're getting the training, so we should have sufficient funds to cover the price of that class.
Are you guys riding together, Scott?
Yes.
Oh, I make a motion we approve Marshall Taylor and Matt Devine to attend training in October for $399 per officer.
I second it.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Is it your training, Scott? Is that annual January through December, or does it run mid-year? Is it some kind of fiscal year in the middle of the year? How does that?
It's calendar year.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have a motion by Jen and a second by Stan to okay the training for Scott and his deputy for $390 some each. Any other comments before we vote? Okay, we have do a roll call vote. Jen, how do you vote?
Yes.
Carla, how do you vote?
Yes.
Stan, how do you vote?
Yes.
Ashley, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Ron, I vote yes, so it passes 5-0. Okay.
Thank you. Just to bring up one more point on that, it's not till October, so I'm not going to submit the invoice till it's closer to time, because there's been a lot of classes canceled by COVID, and we've had other classes canceled. So in order not to create undue work for the clerk and trying to recoup money, I'll wait to submit that a little closer when it gets time. I just wanted to get it in case the class filled up. Second, something you brought up earlier about the ADA and sidewalks, something you guys might want to look into. I thought the town had a budgeted account that went for ADA repair. That's something you might look into as a source for your funds for sidewalks.
Yes, it does.
I think we almost just wiped that out, Scott, I think it's almost wiped out because of the community crossing, that extra money.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'd have to look at it.
Okay, thank you, Scott. Any other council reports?
Yeah, Scott, I think your new sign up there looks great.
Thank you.
I do too. Okay, anybody else? Okay, I just want to add a few things about this Yost Road project so we can keep thinking about it and telling everybody what's going on with it. Just want to fill everybody in what we found on Yost Drive. We have temporarily, as you know, we've temporarily suspended the engineering while we look into it and consider other options. So far, we have found out that we can get out of the engineering contract, and we can get out of the contract with the state for building the road. In fact, we were told that if we went 6 months or so with no action, the state would terminate the contract. If we terminate, the town will be responsible for nearly $27,000 that has been spent so far on the engineering. I hate that, as others do, but I hate the idea of taking on $1 million plus, probably $1.25 million debt for doing a road to something that the town doesn't need, and from what we can tell so far, doesn't want. Our efforts of developing that land for purposes suitable for Dayton has been undermined by the county and the developers, and now a huge hunk of that area is out of our control. We were told that the annexation of the land in our TIP district would be voluntary, but now it's clear that it's not. Even if we wanted to force an annexation, which I won for don't, I'm not sure that we can with the recent law change. And I think Steve Brock told me when I talked to him, you cannot do a forced annexation anymore. So if we continue to tip the land but don't put the road in, the redevelopment commission will have the money to use for things that could benefit the town, like buy land for a park or walking trails, street lights, whatever, within the TIF area. Personally, I see a lot of reasons not to do the road and a lot of ways that it would be better for the town not to do it. If the road goes in, I, for one, want Dayton. I don't want Dayton to pay for it, but let the developers in the county pay for it. But we want to give it time, though, before we make a final decision, to give the citizens who are interested in this to have time to weigh in on all this. So we need to hear from our citizens on this whole thing. But a lot's been thrown into it, how basically the town is being pretty much screwed over on a lot of avenues. So anyway, we can go from there, and that's where we are up to date. We'll be doing, we'll be talking to TIP people. We'll be getting a lot more research on this stuff. Anyway, that's all I have. So need a motion to close this meeting.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second it.
Okay, got a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. Jen, roll call vote. Jen, how do you vote?
Yeah.
Carla?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Ashley?
Yes.
And Ron, I vote yes. So the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.